your responsibility as an elder to find a protege, find an open book. Not everybody who wants to be mentored is actually ready to be mentored. You don't want to do life and you're just consuming. It's not about you. The reason why we need proteges is, ever try to coach someone who has an opinion about everything you say? Hello, this is Dr. Dennis, and welcome to Honest Conversations, a platform where we do just that, talk honestly about success and achievement and relationships and attitude and faith. In fact, we do talk about life, all of life, spiritual life, physical life, emotional life, and we talk about life in general here. And today's topic is proteges. It's one of two. Now, I did mention last time about peopleology, the art, the delicate art of doing relationships. There are two types of relationships. There are horizontal relationships. Those are people in your life with whom you relate horizontally, meaning friends and foes. And like a scale, there is positive horizontal relationships and negative horizontal relationships. Positive, of course, they're friends, the people that love you, your buddies, and then negative are the enemies. And sometimes, in fact, many times, our life will schedule. We'll have both friends and foes. And I even say in one of my books, sometimes a foe might help you even more than a friend. There are seasons where my enemies I didn't have any good friends, and so my enemies actually helped keep me on my toes, learning, becoming, seeing what not to be, how not to be. And then there's horizontal relationships, and there's vertical relationships, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about vertical relationships, people that pour into your life. Relationships up are people that pour into your life, your mentors, your teachers and trainers and senseis, right? Your gurus. And then your relationships down, people that God sends you or life sends you that you're supposed to pour into, teach, train, disciple, lift up, mentor. So we're going to talk about those two this episode and next episode. They're like sister episodes, proteges and mentors. That makes sense. So let's go back to our Kenyan proverb. If you refuse the advice of an elder, you will walk until sunset. Elders are sent. God sends you people in your life to teach and train you. And for years and years, I was never the guy to look up to, because I was in the season when I was being formed. I was deciding. I was growing. And so, but I remember the first time that someone actually came and said, "Hey, will you mentor me?" I was like, wait, me? Me? I was flattered. Then I was terrified. I was like, wait, I know how to be mentored, but mentoring? So I was so pumped, man. I'm getting in there, and I'm calling them. Did you do what I said? I've got long lists of them, things to do. Here's what to do. Here's what to, did you get up? Here's when you wake up in the morning. Here's what you do. You got to pray. You got to read your Bible. You got to this and read. And by the way, you know what I do? I read the scriptures. You need to read the same scriptures. Here's my favorite 6 books. You got to read Who Moved My Cheese. You got to read As a Man Thinketh. You got to read. So I've got this time. I'm pumped. Of course, eventually, first I realized, man, they're excited, but then they're not excited anymore, and then eventually they stopped calling me because I was too much. I think I was too much. I don't know. But eventually I learned. I've got now I I mentor hundreds of people, but uh, I would learn later on as I began to think about this again, peopleology, that not everybody who wants to be mentored is actually ready to be mentored. Not everybody who says, please mentor me, is actually mentoring material. If I opened my socials right now, I'd have about 4 or 5 requests. Will you please mentor me? Just because they want to be mentored, I learned the hard way, doesn't mean they actually want that. I've got people who contact me, but all they want is my relationships, but they posture as a mentor, as a mentee, as a protege, but they want me to connect them because I'm that type of guy. If I'm into you, I will talk about you. So they're like, and eventually like, hey, I'm going to Atlanta, man. Could you just call around some churches there that, or some people that, hey, I'm going to, do you know this government, and I need to, my stuff stuck here at this airport. Can you call somebody to just, I'm like, I thought you wanted mentoring. Did you want mentoring, or did you want my contacts? And so I wrote I came up with 5 qualifications for a protege, just because how do I know this person is ready to download? How do I know they're ready to learn? How do I know? So number one, a good protege is an open book. Open book means, man, they're I'm not guessing about their issues, because have ever mentored somebody who didn't tell you the whole story? I've had, for example, husbands who say, I need to be mentor me on and to be a better husband with it. So I'm mentoring a guy how to be a better husband. At the time of this recording, I've been married 29 years, so I think I know a thing or two. So they come to me, so I'm mentoring. So they're like, my wife, she's unresponsive. Something's wrong. I mean, she dog Dennis. She doesn't let me touch her or whatever. So it's like, oh gosh, let's help her. Let's I just But he doesn't tell me the whole story. That
Hey there, Josh here, I'm the producer of this podcast. Before we dive back into this episode, I just want to share with you the best way to support honest conversations. If you believe in what we're doing here and the mission of this podcast, then I encourage you to check out the link on the screen or in the description box below. It's called Patreon. And if you're a Patreon member, we have some cool perks that we give as a thank you for your support. Things like early access to future episodes, access to our suggestion box, and a monthly live Q&A with Dr. Dennis, where we talk about the things that we discuss here on this podcast. If that interests you and you want to help us keep this podcast going, then I encourage you to check out those links. Now back to the episode.
But he doesn't tell me the whole story. That this is the third affair. She's had affairs. He has had affairs. He's had other women. So poor girl is thinking, I don't know if I can trust you with my body. But I didn't get the whole story. So I'm helping him with what to do. Did you buy some flowers? Did you take her out? Do you get the kids babysitting? I'm coming up with all these ideas, but he didn't tell me the whole story. So a good mentor, a good mentee, a good protege is an open book. Number 2, they've got to be likable. Yeah, because I got to like you if I'm going to spend time with you, if I'm going to take you in my life, my heart, to teach and train you, I have to like you. Now, someone's like, man, that's pretty vain. No, not really. Because you're going to call me a lot, aren't you? You're going to, so I'm not saying, and it's not like they have to brown nose me, like, Dennis, you're amazing. That's what turns me off. So, no, they have to be pleasant to be with. You have to be sensitive. If I say, I don't like this, I don't like I don't take phone calls in the morning. They have to be likable. You have to like somebody to bring them with you, to journey with you. Number 3, they have to be pliable. Ever try to coach someone who has an opinion about everything you say? Yeah, 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 I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's a good perspective. No, no, no. You didn't come to me for perspectives. You came to me so I can show you my roadmap. I thought before you enlisted me as a mentor, you had really a mentor, and we'll talk about this to next episode. A mentor is somebody you want to be when you grow up. I thought when you came to me to train you, teach you, or mentor you in this area, you kind of want to be like me. You want to do what I've done. You admire what I have done. I thought it wasn't about your opinion. I thought you came from my opinion. Now I speak as somebody who up today I'm being mentored. So well, at this point, I still have a spiritual mother. I have people that will tell me what to do. When I'm with a mentor, I've got one of the man that I love. His name's Lee. I'd say when I'm with Lee, I don't go to Lee with opinions. Now, when Lee is in my space, he'll be quiet and listen because I've got this competencies. When he's in my competency space, he actually is learning from me. He has sat there for hours to listen to me teach. But when I'm in his space, when I go to him monthly, I go to Lee. Hey Lee, hey, can we chat? When we chat, I go with my notepad. I am not going there to tell him, to show him how amazing I am. I am pliable. And when Lee says, in fact, even the concept for this, Lee is in this media business, for example, and he when I talked to him initially about this idea for the honest conversation, he says because I had an idea of how I thought I should do it, and I one conversation with Lee, and I said, Lee, he said, Dennis, I hear what you're trying to do, but here's what I've seen done. Lee is about 10 years older than me. Let me see. Yeah, he's about 10 years, 8 years older than me. So, first of all, age and his experience. He's got 40 years in this industry. So, when I go to him, I don't go to with, yeah, I think I did. I go to, hey, Lee, here's what I think. What do you think? Here's what I think. What do you think? And he says, Dennis, I think you should do this. I don't say, I get you. I seriously consider. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to make me a puppet, but I'm pliable. Number 4, qualification, respectful. I will only say this about this respect. Do not allow the invitation to intimacy be destroyed by the contempt of familiarity. You must not. If you come to me, okay, let me put it this way. If I go to somebody to be mentored, I have to respect it. He says, hey, don't call me after 10. I don't call him at 11. Say, hey, I was in the area. I was just, I know you don't want me to call you after 10 o'clock, but it's 11:30. Is that cool? Yeah, is it okay? No, no, no. I said, he's told me, you told me, don't call after 10 o'clock. That's it. Respect. Huge. Number 5, diligent. I don't want to do the work for you. If I mentor you, don't make me do the work for you. If I say, hey, read 2 books by the next time we meet. Read 2 books by the next time we meet. Don't say, yeah, I know you said 2 books, but I started reading, man. Do I have to read that book? It's yeah. Diligent. Do you, as a good protege, does what the mentor suggests. Okay, what if you cannot download? What if maybe I should teach this to him next week, next episode, because it's quite a I don't want to rush through this, because again, there are not everybody's coachable, everybody's trainable. Not everybody trainable. There are people, and I am, for me, if I'm committed to you, man, I stick with you. We're gonna do this for life. We're gonna do this for a long time. So this idea of quitting, I don't want to quit. I don't want to quit, but I discovered that not everybody that I want to help, I can't help everybody. And there are 7 impregnable attitudes that I'm going to teach next time. We're going to talk about next honest conversation, and I don't want to go into that this time because I don't, I want to do them justice. But Proverbs 9:9, Book of Solomon, and Book of Proverbs, the writer says, "Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning." Uh-huh. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will yet be wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. If you're postured correctly, you're going to learn quite a bit. Again, Kenyan proverb: if you refuse the advice of an elder, you're going to walk until sunset. This is a critical relationship. The reason why we need proteges is you don't want to do life and you're just consuming. It's not about you. After a certain time traveling your journey, God or life will send you people that you're going to want to teach. In fact, some of you, and I want to encourage this, some of you, you're in that space. You've built your business. Find a kid who just is hungry to do what you've done. Look for them. In fact, most of the people that I'm around these days, my peers, are in this stage of achievement where they have done something, done a thing or two, where they're like, I'm ready to pour. Because it's a matter of emotional maturity to not just take your lessons to the grave. In fact, the older you are, the wiser you become. In fact, in my culture, it's a core responsibility of age, maturation. Who are you training? Who are you lifting up? Who are you teaching? Who? In fact, some companies even have that in their corporate structures. After a certain place, you got to find your replacement. This is actually strange in certain countries where it's so archaic that if you got power, you're going to hold power forever. But not these days. It's one of the issues with governance in Africa, where there's a population which is majority young, 70%, sometimes up to 80% in some countries. They're under the age of 30. So this is the entire country is under the age of 30. The majority of the country is under the age of 30. So it's time for the wazee, the old folk, to find a hungry protege. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, Mr. CEO. Find an open book. They're there. In fact, somebody said that the tragedy of modern societies is nobody wants to learn. Not so true. They're here. Find them. Be open to them. They will see it, because some of us think, I won't die as president of this company. You don't have to. There's no greater joy than to get to that place where you say, okay, I'm stepping down from leading here so I can lead from here. I can tell the story. In fact, this is one of the things I want to tell this before I go. In fact, it's an existential threat for some countries, and even like the entire continent of Africa. I'm running around the continent talking about the power of stories and how important it is to talk about culture. We have got, my tribe, the Baganda. I've got a 3,000-year traceable history. 3,000 years. America, at the time of this recording, is about to celebrate its 250th birthday. It's celebrating 250 years, actually. It is celebrating 250 years. Uh, um, but my tribe is 3,000 years old. We never had books or pens. Our elders didn't write anything down. How do you preserve a culture for 3,000 years? Is you raise, you tell the stories. Every elder, it's your responsibility as an elder to find a protege, find an open book, call them an open book, because there's got to be an open book, not just any book. Not every book is open. Find an open book and begin to write in the book. Tell them how you did it. Isn't that awesome? So that's our honest conversation. Is part 1 of 2, because I'm going to get into and next time I'm getting into in this 7 people you cannot help. Not everybody who comes and sits at your feet can be helped. So that's our honest conversation. If something has stirred you today, don't keep it yourself. Share with somebody. Somebody needs to hear, because somebody does need to hear it. Let's keep the conversation going. And don't forget again, next conversation, don't miss the conclusion to this conversation next time. Questions, comments, thoughts, feedback, leave your comments in the comment section. And I'd love to hear from you. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I'm Dr. Dennis, and I'll see you here next episode on Honest Conversations. God richly bless you.
That is it for today's episode. This is episode number 11 of this podcast, and today's honest conversation starter is: what are qualities that you have that make you easy or hard to pour into? I think that's a worthwhile question to ask as we discuss the topic of this podcast. We have part 2 coming next week. And I encourage you, go out into your own context, into the real world, have your very own honest conversation, and honestly reflect on the answer to today's conversation starter. Anyway, thank you so much for every single person that watched or listened to this podcast. We are so grateful for your ongoing support. And speaking of support, we cannot miss out on an opportunity to thank our Patreon supporters for helping us keep this podcast going. And an even bigger shout out to our Patreon supporters that are on the off the record tier. Huge shout out to you guys. You are on the highest level of support for our podcast, and we want to give you a special shout out by displaying your name on the screen. All right, thank you so much once again. We hope you have an amazing week ahead, and we'll see you in the next conversation, next episode of Honest Conversations. Bye-bye.